the introduction. Thanks for being here. Can you hear me decently? Yeah? No? Hopefully? Okay. So yeah, we're the mHACKeroni team, and today this is the story of how we ended up hacking a satellite of the US government for fun, profit, money, and also, well, kind of legally, I guess, because it was a competition. So, and they didn't sue us so far, so good. So who's mHACKeroni actually? mHACKeroni is a bit of a dream that was dreamed for a while by Mario, by Lavish, and by some others of the founding members, I guess. And in 2018, we decided to get together. We were a handful of smaller Italian teams. The biggest was for sure Polytechnic of Milan team. And then we were joined by the Roman exploit, us as the University of Padua team, no pun intended, and Cookies at Venice, that was the team from Ca' Foscari, and we decided to get together for a simple reason. We were too tiny and not skilled enough to actually get to qualify to DEFCON, because that was the dream, right? And we ended up qualifying in DEFCON in 2018, 19, 20, and so far so forth, so I guess the experience was pretty successful. And nowadays, mHACKeroni evolved a bit, because, mHACKeroni evolved a bit, Cookies are no longer with us. But we were joined by new friends from About Blanket. That's another Italian team made of other sub-teams, because the new meta in CTFs is about merging and merging. And now we are a nice little community of people that play these kind of competitions. But actually, what is a CTF? CTF is a capture the flag. That's an acronym, CTF. And I guess everybody actually knows what's a CTF, so let's just go fast. Basically, the idea is that the organizers put up some challenges. Each are worth some different amount of points because they are harder, easier. Maybe they don't even know. But the idea is that they host some vulnerable services. You have to hack into them once. You want to get a secret, a string called a flag. That's what you want to prove that you were inside the system. You want to submit it to the organizers, and then they give you points. Whoever hacks the most at the end of these 24, 48, 72 hours effort is the hackerest, I guess, and wins the competition. And this year we tried something new. Actually, we tried for many years by not managing to qualify for the finals ever until the latest editions, actually, and the last edition of Hackasat. So this is a new competition that was organized mostly by the US Air Force and Space Force, where they said CTFs are cool and CTFs on machines that stay on Earth are cool. But what about hacking a satellite and having a CTF that runs on orbit on a real satellite that goes around the Earth while people try to hack it? And well, that's a pretty nice idea. There were 4 editions of this competition. The first 3 were with qualifiers online in May, and then a final at DEFCON. But they were all simulations of actually some sort of Earth orbit game. And finally, for the 4th and last edition, as Mario will tell you later, they managed to put a satellite in orbit that was a huge hacker playground, a sandbox basically, where you could have fun and try to solve the challenges. Of course, we did it for the cash prizes. What else? Not for the glory. I guess actually we did it for the glory. Anyway, there were some nice cash prizes, and we were like, okay, why don't we try? We tried for 3 years to qualify, and we managed all the time to be the first team of the unqualified ones, and we are quite proud of that, because that's quite the achievement. So at some point, we were tired of being a huge meme in the Hackasat community, and we decided this year is also the last year, why don't we try for real? And we did. The qualifiers are basically a huge 48 hours effort that is open to all the teams in the world. You just need to have some people to hack with, or even by yourself. You sign up on the internet, and then you basically have to solve a lot of challenges in this Jeopardy style, where you solve it once, you submit the solution, you get the points, whoever has the most points wins. And the issues that actually the 381 teams played the qualifiers, and only 5 would make it to the finals, because since there's limited resources, you have a satellite in orbit that can only execute a bunch of code per minute, basically. They couldn't really afford to have many more finalist teams. So the interesting part of all this effort is that for these 2 days, that's non-stop. So there's also always creative sleeping arrangements happening in the basements of Polytechnic of Milan. which is our host for all
this is not on record, by the way, because we didn't do that for you.
No, sorry. So basically, Polytechnic of Milan is so nice to point out to some basements somewhere in the country where you can actually take some naps next to labs, maybe. And anyway, this is 48 hours, so this was a pretty huge effort. But finally, after 3 years of successfully failing to qualify, we managed to arrive second, and we got a ticket to this space final. It's not, woo, thank you. It's not a ticket to the moon, but hey, come on, that's nice. And so what about, why is this not responsive? This is very annoying, stupid. All right, so basically, what's it about though? Because you have to hack stuff, and in a normal CTF, maybe a lot of you actually played some at some point in their life. You usually have to pawn executables, you have to reverse engineer some stuff and get out some logic conditions, you have to hack websites, you have to do crypto, you have to do forensics and all those boring challenges that nobody wants to do. But here, no, this was a bit special because everything was space themed because, well, of course, right? And so we can see there were actually so many weird names. Aero capture the flag. And these actually are taken from their website. So this was what they told us the different challenges were about. Correcting orbits, adjust altitude, prepare for entry, capture the space flags, pure pwnage. Actually, that sounds familiar. But the rest, I don't know, can stop the signal. And I mean, we are proper hackers. We are not space mathematicians. And well, this kind of sucked because it turned out that actually it's incredibly laggy. Hey, can you go back? Because I'm pressing the wrong button because I'm dumb. Okay, sorry, I'm noob. Anyway, actually, the proper categories we can actually summarize as these. So there was a lot of space math, radio stuff, more space math, and even the pure pwnage was, well, mostly a lot of space math that you can use to pawn stuff. So at least that was kind of okay. And so basically, you had to do a lot of weird tasks that were not exactly in our comfort zone because, well, we massage hips more than doing space math. And so we had to learn a lot. And we had to get some people that actually knew their Jesus. Guys, good attempt, but no. Good attempt, but no. Thank you, though. Anyway, so basically we did a lot of space math, and we understood that actually we needed to bring to DEFCON some people that actually knew their stuff, satellite-wise and math-wise. And so the team expanded a bit. We had our new friends from About Blankets. We had some people from telecommunications. And then we flew this huge amount of people to Las Vegas for the final event. The final event was in August. It was meant to be on the real satellite that Mario will show you pictures of later. And this was at this DEFCON 31 conference where there was a lot of people looking at us play. Because this is the game arena. They had a literal arena with a handful of tables, one per team, where you got some swag, you got your nice display, where you could showcase your logo. And they could look all very busy and professional while attempting to hack, while most of the action was actually happening upstairs. Which we censored for privacy reasons. Thank you, here it is. Most of the action happened upstairs because, well, we had to take roughly 60 people this year to the finals because we had to play in parallel both the Hackasat final and the conventional DEFCON CTF Finals, which we qualified also for, and we wanted to try to push on both. So we had people downstairs in this arena, which was also like 20 minutes walking distance from our suite, and most people in our headquarters, which was upstairs, and you can see us here in a meeting at the end of the first day, I think, to basically play, because you need space to play. Which makes for a lot of interesting logistic challenges. So first of all, how do you even get some internet to your headquarters? Because you have 60 hackers and they all want their bandwidth, and the hotel doesn't want you to give a lot of bandwidth. And actually the hotel wants you to pay a lot for bandwidth. And by a lot we mean like $20 per day per device or some stupid amount like that. And we want gigabit, I mean, come on. So, of course, like every year, we started thinking, how do we get internet to this room? Because that's a massive effort. And like every year, you start really going creative. Can we connect to the hotel LAN? Will they actually find us out? Will we get security in 5 minutes to our room because they saw weird packets? Which might have happened to other CTF team in the past. So, yeah. What do? Do we start using LTE SIM cards? Can we use some antennas? How do we cope with the fact that we are surrounded by 30,000 hackers? It's a disaster. Can we do radio bridges to other hotels? Well, no, actually, we went for some physical level hacking. We started moving furniture until we found some very nicely marked port which maybe had internet. Maybe not. Who knows? And so now that we have a gigabit connection, the question is, if we have some enormous headquarters, and now we need to get everybody to connect, how do we do? Well, of course, Wi-Fi, right? Except that a proper team has a lot of sysadmins, and sysadmins were like, well, no, now we get to have fun. So they decided the best idea was to fiber optic the whole suite of the hotel, of course. So why is this happening? I'll just stay here, whatever. So basically they had this super complicated layout. They wanted to have fibers and Wi-Fi's and whatnot. And of course this made for a huge amount of stress, given that we got our switches at August 10th, which was T-1 from the competition, which curiously I can only see. Ah, thank you, here it is, which was T-1, and well, that was slightly stressful, but then in the end, with some engineering work, we had our sysadmin CTF, and they could have fun before the actual fun started, because instead for them, the competition is basically pure pain. Then it was about time to get ready. We had to learn space math. We had to get people to do space math, which was actually the easy-ish part. We studied a bit, and now it was time to get to the competition, which Mario will tell you more about.
Thank you, Daniele. So about the competition, I'll try to go fast. So the idea, this is the network, the architecture that the organizer give us the day of the competition. The idea is there are 5 teams that are the teams that are qualified. They need to send tasks on the satellite. So what you actually do, you have an interface with API to schedule your task, actually not to schedule, to get to send your task to the satellite. That is not true. There is actually a verification done by humans in the between. Okay, they didn't want us to crash the satellite, even if it was not really possible. So the idea is you have to select a time frame for executing your task, and then send code that actually run on the satellite, and eventually you get back from the satellite the data after the code is run, okay? And with that, you need to do some task. This satellite is called Moonlighter. Was launched in June, actually, with a mission that was refurbishing the International Space Station. That's the number of the mission. Was launched with the SpaceX number 28. It went on the International Space Station, stayed there for 1 month, and then was pooped out by the International Space Station in an orbit that is actually close to the one that the International Space Station had. That's the tracking number. If you want to track that object in space, there is a number for every object in space. That's the tracking number of that specific satellite, if you want to look for it. It's like a 3U CubeSat. It means that it's basically 30 times 10 times 10 centimeter, that's 3U, and it has inside a few things: gyroscope, camera, GPS, and reaction wheels. You can actually do attitude control. You can rotate this satellite. It's supposed to stay up for 1.5 years. That's the planned life of the satellite, but we had to use it for the competition just for 2 days. Okay? And that's the picture of the actual satellite that is still flying outside. Do I need to click again?
There's tiny bit delay. Yes.
That's a satellite that was planned by them. This is satellite for us. Okay, it's basically just a machine. Okay, that is running Lua, and that's a problem. It's 100 megahertz. and can communicate with subsystem. Okay? The problem with Lua is that we don't know how to write Lua. Okay? So what we actually did is we can write Python, we can put stuff in ChatGPT, and if you hammer enough the code that you get out, then you get Lua that can actually run on a satellite. And we actually did that. It's not just a joke. So the other problem is that we have a very slow feedback. Okay? And as an hacker and as a CTF player, you usually do a lot of trial and error. You try whatever comes to mind until you have a solution. But in this setting, you basically have this setting where there is the satellite passing by one station. Okay, there were 4 ground stations in the world that were used for this. And so basically, when it's going on one, you can upload the payload. And then the satellite is gone, okay? And it's running on its own. You don't have anything, okay, until it's going up to the next ground station. And then you can actually download the code from the next ground station, okay? How long is this window? It depends. We had a timetable, okay? The shortest was like an hour, something like that. But the longest was like 8 hours. It was going through all the night, okay? So we had to plan the task, sending up, and have feedback like in the next window. Planning according to these windows, okay? So we had one med scheduler that was Dario. Okay, Dario was actually scheduling all the tasks that we had to send up to the station so that we can fit everything we need in one or the other window. But because we were noob, we skipped the first two window because we have anything ready. Okay, that's the challenge. But by the night, we sent everything up there, okay? So let me go fast. One idea of what we had to do, okay? The idea is, for example, you have this red zone in the world, and you want a picture of the red zone. It means you need to rotate the satellite and take the picture. But because they are red zone, the satellite will prevent you from taking the picture of that zone. So the idea is that for the challenge, what we had to do is actually rotate the satellite, okay, do the stuff, but zeta axis was not working, so few extra projection that we need to do. But then there was a geometric check on what you're taking the picture from. So what we actually did is to fake the GPS, okay? So how can you do that? Basically, there is a GPS communicating with a protocol. The plan for the organizer was to mess with the calibration of the GPS, then do a lot of space math, physics, whatever. But that's hard. We didn't do that. We found out that there was a demo mode for the GPS where you can actually set the precise point on GPS, so we did that. Okay, and actually all the team did that. Nobody wanted to do any relative physics, whatever, math, things. After day one, at the end of day one, I went back to the room talking with Dario and the other people, and we actually had solved everything. Okay, at the end, we had scheduled any task and send it up to the things. So, okay, now we can play DEFCON. It's easy. We have done with the thing. But then people start looking at the challenge during the night and maybe was not everything actually totally correct. Okay? And the morning we got the feedback that basically all the tasks that we had sent were wrong. Okay? So we did nothing. Okay? But because we discovered it during the night, we prepared the new solution and we sent it on the last window. Okay, this is us when we figured out that nothing was solved. Okay, we send it out and then just hope that it was good enough because there was no extra window to deal with. And then we keep playing DEFCON CTF. And at the end, we are the yellow line. Okay, so this is the result at the end. This is the last window where we basically scored on most of the challenge that we sent there. Okay, and so we won. Okay, but the real reason why we did all this effort is for Matteo. Okay, Matteo asked us to play every year, and only like 5, 6 people were playing and not qualifying. But the last year we played all together, so we have a video from Matteo.
Da piccolo volevo fare l'astronauta. Purtroppo i computer mi hanno rovinato la vista. Questo è letteralmente l'unico motivo per cui non sono un astronauta ora. Oggi ho trovato la mia personale rotta verso lo spazio.
That's mac and cheese, you know?
A tutti i giovani Matteo là fuori, voglio dire, don't give up on your dreams. Maccheroni.
Okay, so if you want more video like that, you can follow us on Instagram and x/tweet/ whatever you can call. There are other videos about what we had done. I was Mario, this was Daniele. Thank you very much. I have one extra thing for you, and it's the picture that we actually took from the satellite for our red zone. If it loads, this is the actual picture that we took in space for the satellite. Okay, so yeah, they were supposed to come like 3 slides ago, but it's okay.
We organized, but we are very organized.
They don't read my messages. Yeah, so other people, if you want to come here, all the macaroni, there is a lot of macaroni around at this conference. You'll see them because they wear our t-shirt, whatever. I just want them to come here so they can take your applause for the competition.
Jesus Christ, how many are we?
There is a lot, I mean. Half of the conference. Come on, guys, come on, guys.
Hop, hop.
You see a lot of them. We actually use this conference together all together, right? It's not the first year that we are doing that.
And also, if I can add something while everybody's getting here, so actually Berghem-in-The-Middle and NOHAT were friends of Maccheroni since day one. So actually, thanks a lot to everyone for their support. This year, Red Bull was on Berghem-in-The-Middle, so thanks a lot for keeping us awake, kind of, I guess. And yeah, we're so happy to be here, so thanks a lot, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you too.